This is Dudes Who Bet Sports.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Dudes Who Bet Sports. We're back for another week here, Papa Dude. We've got no football on the show for the first time in a while, but that's all right because we got Oaklawn Park to replace it. What could be better, right?
Yeah, we'll have to start doing this a week at a time, like we do now till next August.
Yeah, that's right.
We'll improvise as we go along.
Yep, that's exactly right. We'll just week to week we'll do it. But everybody knows that watch this show and likes this show. We kind of go off the rails for a little while anyway, so it probably isn't going to be that big of a deal, right?
No,
good.
I don't think it is. I don't
As
think.
long as you don't think so. Yeah.
Well, we got college basketball to get us through till the 1st of April,
Mm-hmm.
and then we got hockey, and we got the NBA, and we got the start of Major League Baseball. Who cares? And then we get the summer where it gets pretty draggy.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
You've summed it up. But we usually go horse racing like Saratoga during the summer, so that'll be
That's
good.
true.
Yeah. Dennis says he's got 2 basketball questions. Yeah, wait, we'll do the horse racing first, and then we'll go basketball. You can ask him there. Excited for the weekend? Well, let's get to it, and let's get to the main event of the weekend. Race 1 Sunday. Nope, just kidding. The Rebel Stakes Saturday at Oaklawn Park. That is the main event of the weekend here. It's something, Papa Dude. Field of 13 lined up. So that's good. 13 horses. Timberlake is 6-5. He is the favorite. We haven't seen him since the Breeders' Cup where he ran 4th, beaten 8. All right, Papa Dude, what do you think about this one?
Well, when you said it's the main event, I guess it is. We had lunch yesterday together, and we were talking about this and how something's going to have to change because $1,200,000 race with this bunch of donkeys, we got issues.
Big time.
I can't remember the last time we didn't have a Baffert horse in the Rebel.
No.
Can you?
No, I can't. No.
So surely they're going to see something, and they got to change something. I was going through the field. 5 of these horses for $1.2 million purse, okay, have only won a maiden.
Yeah.
And there may have been more than that. I just glanced at it. But 5 of the 13 have only won a maiden. This is weird. It really is, because as we were talking yesterday, a lot of Triple Crown winning horses have won the Rebel.
Yeah.
This
Triple
is
Crown race winning horses. Yep.
Yes, Triple Crown winners of a Triple Crown race have won the Rebel.
Yeah. Plus a Triple Crown winner has won the Rebel.
This is not a donkey race. This is a big time race.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make a lot of sense. So when you go down through this, I mean, there's just nothing. My number 2 horse is not going to win anything but maybe this.
Yeah.
I would just steal as my second choice.
Yeah, I get it. But before we get to it, since you brought it up and Shoddy brings it up, this is what's so weird. So Catching Freedom wins the Smarty Jones, at Oaklawn, and goes, instead of staying at Oaklawn and running in the Rebel for $1.25 million, where he would have been the favorite. They went to the Risen Star for $400,000, where he was, I can't remember if he was the 3rd or 4th choice in the race, but a much tougher race. Why? And then Steve Asmussen has Hall of Fame and Track Phantom. And instead of bringing Hall of Fame to run here, where he would have been a much shorter price for $1.25 million, he ran them against each other. Like, it's so odd. Oaklawn really, honestly, I think they tried to do the right thing by making these purses astronomical, but it's missing the boat. I mean, they're wasting their money. They would be better off distributing this money through the everyday racing and just make those purses bigger or something. But this is not good. And it hasn't been good for 3 or 4 years now, this Rebel.
If you're not going to draw a better field than this for a $1.25 million race, I mean,
Well, it just shows you that
yesterday.
it just shows you these people that have these horses, for the most part. This is not a this is just for the most part comment I'm about to make here. They don't care about purse money.
Well, they're different than me.
Well, yeah, I was talking to somebody and was like, okay, if I owned Catching Freedom, I would be very happy. Number one, and number two, if my trainer said, no, hey, we're going to go away from Oaklawn and go to the Risen Star, even if it's a guy like the trainer that I have that I really respect, there would be a phone call and there would be, no, we're not, because that's crazy. Like, we could run for triple the money in an easier field, and he's at home. Like, why? We're not going down there for that. So I don't know what's up. But I guess what it is, I guess I do know what's up. The people that own the majority of these big time horses, like, this purse isn't really a thing. It's just like timing and getting them in the right spots, the right times where they can become stallions and win grade 1 races. That's
where they make all their money, is if that happens.
Mm-hmm.
And they still own the horse, or they sell the horse for a bunch of money before it becomes a stallion. I don't know that no one cares about purse money, because why would you send your horse all the way to Saudi Arabia if you didn't care about purse money?
Well, I think when it's $20 million, it's different.
Yeah, but how much it costs to send him over there, and I don't know.
Timing is that's probably the answer. I think trainers nowadays are so locked into timing. I mean, that's the answer you're going to get, and it's probably the true one.
I think it's true.
But my goodness.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to promote this. It's always dangerous as a owner that doesn't know anything to get involved in the trainer's business, but that is definitely at best, it's a long conversation of, you need to explain exactly why we're doing this. But again, the people that own Catching Freedom, it's not just them, it's all these big time places. They're not looking at it like that. They're just looking at it as like, okay, yeah, if you think that's going to set him up, go ahead, Yeah.
Well, I think the main thing that's missing is we don't have a Pletcher horse here, and we don't have a Baffert.
So that was the other thing. Sorry, I interrupted you there, but that was the other thing. And I talked to somebody in the Pletcher barn, and I don't know anybody in the Baffert barn, but I talked to somebody. It was like, why did Todd Pletcher send, like, I don't know how many, a bunch of horses to fairgrounds and none to Oaklawn? And he didn't have an explanation. So I don't know the answer to that. Yeah,
it makes you wonder, because that's what's missing. We don't have a Baffert horse, and we don't have a Pletcher horse, and we usually do.
Yeah,
and those are two of the main guys, and we don't have one. Mm-hmm. And I don't know what it is. I don't. The purses at Oaklawn are fantastic. Mm-hmm. But they're, to me, the Oaklawn meet is getting worse every year, and I'm an Oaklawn fan. Would rather go there than anywhere, but it just doesn't seem to be the same anymore. Maybe
it's getting worse in terms of the quality of the horse.
Yes,
and not so much the meet itself, but just we're not seeing the superstars we used to see.
No. Yeah, I always tell people that want to go to the races and have time to go 5 hours from here to get down there.
Yeah.
I said, guys, when you go down there, you're seeing Kentucky Derby winning style of horses, which you still have that quality. But I think probably what's going on is they got to get a turf track to get some of these trainers there.
I think that's not going to hurt at all, but you're not going to run on it very often.
That's
these
true,
early months
because of the weather. Yeah.
And I don't know that it's going to solve everything, but
you're absolutely right. With January and running in January and February, and even into March in this part of the country, that thing's going to be shut down most of the time.
Yeah, like this weekend would probably be one of the first weekends that you could really feel like this is going to be good turf racing, right?
Yeah.
So they do need it, and I think March, April into May that they're running now, it'd be great. But I mean, I think this is the big part of it. Like, and we haven't been in it all that long, but used to, when you saw a horse and he ran in the Southwest, you knew he was going to run in the Rebel. He was going to run in the Arkansas Derby. Like,
oh, absolutely.
There wasn't a thought process of the Smarty Jones winner just won, talking about catching freedom, and we won't see him again at Oaklawn. Like, that was never even a thought. But the way,
go ahead.
The way the horses, the way most of the newer trainers look at this, they don't care about that. It's all about 6 weeks apart. Okay, here's this. What's going to happen in 6 weeks? Okay, we'll go to that one. And wait, 1 week later you can run. No, because then 6 weeks after that we got this one. And I mean, that's just how it is.
Well, up until 3 years ago, they ran the Arkansas Derby on the 10th, 11th, 12th, somewhere around in there of April. And was there any doubt that the winner of the Arkansas Derby wouldn't be in the Kentucky Derby?
Right. No,
there was no doubt.
Yeah.
and they wouldn't do that now.
No.
So anyway, we can talk about we're blue in the face, but
a couple things. Yeah, then we'll get to the picks. Couple things. Is Oaklawn big enough for a turf track? The answer is probably not. And
no,
I don't know what they would do. I don't know if they'd have to build a chute maybe or something like that. I'm not really sure the answer, but no. And there's really no room. Oaklawn sits right on the road. I mean, right on the road.
Yeah.
You can't expand it.
They have no room.
No, there's one direction you cannot expand at all. You could make it longer and take up some of the parking lot. I don't think they're going to do that either. I don't know.
Completely redo the dirt track and
and
there's houses all around it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've been to several tracks, not near as many as you have, but I don't think I've ever been to one that has houses just across the track.
Well, Saratoga is Saratoga's the only one.
Yeah. So they have no room to expand. They don't. They just don't.
And that's Saratoga's problem is they explored options to run the Belmont at 1.5 miles, and every option is going to have you shooting out into the road and blocking traffic, or tearing somebody's house down or something. Maybe not tearing it down, but you're into the road no matter where you expand there at Saratoga. And I mean, for example, at Oaklawn, if you expanded the track, Ron Moquette's house would probably get torn down.
Absolutely.
Because Ron Moquette lives right by the track.
You can park over on the back stretch and watch the races go down as the horses go right down the back stretch. You just go up to the fence. And they took a lot of parking lot when they built the casino that and then they have a hotel now that's right there. That took up a lot of parking. I don't think they would want to take a lot more parking over on that other side where they would have to expand the track. There's only one way they can expand the track.
And it's that way, and it would look strange, and it would take the dirt work to build up that. I mean, I don't want to get into the specifics. Most people don't know what we're talking about, but it would be like, I don't know how you could do it.
No,
so,
I don't think you can.
And I think it would look awkward. I think it's a perfect little track. Just, I don't know what to do about the lack of quality, but
Well, I guess we probably ought to just quit worrying about Oaklawn because I think they're doing just fine without
probably
making major changes. I don't think they're too worried about it. So
they probably aren't crying about it. No,
they're not too worried.
All right. Well,
we got 13 horses in here. That's all we're supposed to do anyway. So who cares? So.
Well, tell us who's going to win.
Yeah, all right. I don't know. I don't have a clue. This one is very difficult because, I think probably the smart thing would do is try to find some kind of a long shot that maybe could win because, I mean, all of them have flaws. The obvious choice, let me get to my page here because I was on the Honeybee first. Obviously, you look at Timberlake. What's he done wrong? Nothing really. He's won in 3, or he's ran in 3 grade ones. Nobody else can say that, I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, to jump in for a second, you kind of said it, you don't know, it might be a little difficult. To me, not to me, it's either very easy. You just take the 7 and say the rest of these aren't any good.
Absolutely.
Or you do what you're trying to do and you say, I don't think the 7 will show up and really run that well. Then it gets extremely hard, in my opinion. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I think you have to take him. Second in the grade 1 hopeful at Saratoga. Then he won the Champagne. He finished 4th in the Juvenile and the Breeders' Cup, but look at the 3 that beat him.
Yeah.
I mean, aren't those 3 horses 10 times better than anything here?
Well, especially how they ran that day.
Game?
Like, okay, let's talk about those 3 horses, right?
Yeah.
You had Fierceness, who, okay, now knowing what we know, maybe he wouldn't be that heavy of a favorite. He'd still probably be the favorite in this race. But before that race, he'd be a huge favorite, probably 1-9 in this race.
Yeah. Yeah.
Muth was coming to the race. Something's happened to him. I don't know what it was.
Yeah.
Muth would be 1-5 in this race.
Yes.
And then Locked probably wouldn't be 1-5. It would be a heavy favorite. Yeah.
Yeah. So he didn't really lose to just terrible horses. Mm-hmm. So when you look at the rest of them, none of them's done what the horse has done. They've laid him off. He should come in here fit as a fiddle, ready to roll, probably a lot stronger than he was. He's filled out. He may win by 10 lengths. He might.
It feels like he could at least win by a similar margin that he did in the Champagne.
Yeah, I mean, he could if he's right. Yeah. Do you hold anything? What am I trying to say? Is there a reason why he hasn't prepped before now?
Well, I think this was the plan, to run him in November and then give him 2 preps and then go to the Derby with him. I don't think that's any kind of weirdness or anything like that. Okay. This was kind of what they planned to do. He didn't have any physical issues. I can definitely,
I got to take him. Then you look at D. Wayne's, who's the only trainer that still trains the way you used to. You run them every 3 weeks because they're knocking the barn down, ready to run. So why don't you run him? I can just hear him.
Right.
And Just Steel is pretty good.
Yeah.
But he finishes 2nd and 3rd a lot. And I thought he was going to win the Southwest.
Mm-hmm.
And he lost by 8 lengths.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, he's got a chance. He makes the turn. He's ahead. And Mystic Dan, he blew him out and took off and away he went. But he lost by 8 lengths. Of course, everybody else did too. So can you take that horse at 7-2 to win? I don't think so.
No.
And then
I would
go ahead.
Just to jump in on him, I did the same thing that I've done the first 2 times he's run. I looked at it and I said, "Oh, he sets up pretty well. He looks pretty good, but I don't think he'll win." No. You know, I think he'll be around.
Oh,
also, you also got to realize, you know, when he's been pretty, like, when is he ready for kind of that Lucas, oh, that horse didn't show up today type of race? He's pretty much due for it, I would think.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, because with that, unless that's the flip side of running them like he does.
Yeah.
This is what happens. Like they show up and they're not ready to run one day, and then that's it. You know, they don't run very well. So this could be that spot.
I would feel a lot better about him because let's face it, Mystic Dan just freaked in the Southwest. That down the stretch was unbelievable.
Yeah. Yeah.
If he'd have lost by like 3. Of course, he may be smart and said to himself, "I can't beat that horse. I'm not going to kill myself."
I don't know if he's smart or not, but he knows that he can't. Once he gets to the top of the stretch, he's on.
Well, wait a minute, that's not a horse. That's a rocket. So I don't know, but I can't pick him. Then I looked at Northern Flame. Did you look at him? The 2?
Yes, I've looked at him a lot. Yeah. And I really like the 2 Northern Flame and the 10 Mina, who are coming out of the same race. They finished a neck apart. Northern Flame won. I like both of them, but I couldn't get there.
I can't either because the horse hasn't really won anything. And when they put the horse in something pretty good, well, he lost the street sense by 34 1/4 lengths.
Well, you know, shit happens kind of type of performance. But again, you're right. It's just like, I'm not sure. I think it would be talking about the 10, I think it'd be cool if Steve Hobby won the Rebel.
Oh, it'd be really cool.
But I don't know that he's good enough. That's where I'm at with
Well,
really both of them.
Well, look where he broke his maiden, a $30,000 claiming race.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You gonna pick?
He did do it by 12. So,
well,
and he was claimed, for, by Hobby's group here or his owner here. So,
yeah, it'll be interesting to follow these horses and see if any of them ever win again. The 6th also, the Asmussen horse, which that's the other mystery that we've talked about. Where is the Asmussen horse in this race?
Yeah.
Where is he? Always has a very good horse in this race.
Well, and if you want to get to that, he does have 3 horses in the race. They're 15-1, 8-1, and 20-1.
Yes, and this
so he's got them in it, but what are they really?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
and this is at Oaklawn where the morning line favors Steve Asmussen.
Yeah,
and it's I looked at the 6. He was Brooks maiden on the 3rd of February.
I thought that was a good race,
and he did, and he's bringing him right back, which is maybe a little odd. I don't know. He's switching jockeys, which
the way I look at it, he's got the top jock out of the 3. So I think he's the one that makes the most sense from the Asmussen's perspective. Yeah.
He doesn't ride for Asmussen much.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm. No. I mean, he does. He not at Oaklawn, but he does ride for him a lot, just not at Oaklawn.
Okay. I like this. That's the one I would look at if you want to spring an upset.
Mm-hmm.
That would be the one.
I wonder, let's talk about the Asmussens for a little bit longer here.
Yeah.
I wonder if Ricardo got fired again because, right? Well, after his ride on the number 1 Carbone in the Southwest and then his ride on Hall of Fame last week, I do wonder if he got fired because Castillo gets the mount on Carbone this time. This was a horse that was 9-5 to win the Southwest and got beat 21 3/4.
Yeah.
Maybe
we're kind of
from the rail, Asmussen is going to say, hey, aggressive ride, get him out in front, see what happens. I don't know.
We're kind of forgetting about him.
Yeah.
Do we draw a line through that one and maybe put him at 15-1 as a horse that could pull off an upset? Because he was pretty highly thought about when he went into the Southwest.
He had 2 really nice wins.
He did.
And
you
then
picked him to win the Southwest, right?
I did, and I didn't like it, but I did pick him. And I don't know.
Well, I remember
Shotty's right.
about
Listen,
it.
and this was this was the weird thing. And I just don't get it. Okay, Asmussen had Carbone and Otto the Conqueror in the race. And they got into a speed duel, stablemates. So it's like, I don't know if it was whose fault it was, but it's like, how does that happen that you get into a speed duel with your stablemate and burn each other out? Anyway.
Well, why isn't Rosario? Is he riding another one in this race?
I don't think Rosario's not here. You got to remember that I don't know that Rosario's over in Saudi, but a lot of those good jocks are in Saudi this weekend. I think Rosario, I don't think he went over there though. I think he's somewhere else. He's probably at Fairgrounds.
Yeah.
Is he at Saudi? Okay. I didn't realize he went over there too. So that's part of it for sure.
That explains that.
Yeah.
And that's another reason this race is on the same day as that, and that really hurts. It does.
So I'll circle back to the picks here, but you want to get okay, so they run the Smarty Jones on New Year's Day. That's kind of a weird day. They run the Southwest on Pegasus World Cup Day, usually. It's like, okay. They run the Rebel on Saudi Cup Day, which is becoming bigger and bigger. And then they run the Arkansas Derby on Florida Derby Day. So they don't really have their own day anymore. But yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
I wanted to bring up
go with the 7.
Okay. I wanted to bring up a comment here because this is kind of how Gabe's comment. He said the best win for Timberlake is the Champagne. Is that really that great of a race? The answer is no. Number 1.
Yeah.
But, and I'm not arguing. I'm just going to give you the facts of it because this is how I looked like when I was handicapping, how I kind of went through it as well. It's not that great of a race. It's really, I mean, it's a great win for a horse to win a grade 1, period, no matter what. But, but then when you look at handicapping, like we're talking about handicapping a race, it's not that it's meaningless, but it doesn't mean a ton for now we're at a 3-year-old going 2 turns, right? But here's the problem. Carbone's best win was an allowance going 1 mile over this track. The second place finisher came back to do nothing in a pretty easy Withers, okay? Northern Flame's best win, a mile allowance over this track. Common Defense's best win, maiden special weight over this track. Tayon Pass best win, a maiden special weight sprinting at Santa Anita. I think you know where I'm going with this one.
Yeah, there's no good win.
Magic Grant's best win, the Clever Trevor when sprinting. Dymatic, maiden special weight over this track. You have Timberlake. The Next Level's best win, maiden special weight at Fairgrounds. The Nine's best win, an allowance at Churchill. Who knows? That might be the best win as we read through these. Mina's best win, starter allowance race at Churchill.
Yeah.
Just Steele's best win. It was a stakes win. He won the Ed Brown at Churchill going 6.5. Woodcourt's best win, an allowance right here at Oaklawn. And then Time for Truth's best win, maiden special weight, going 1 turn at Oaklawn.
I will say this for Just Steele, not that he's going to win, but at this distance, he's ran okay at Oaklawn. He has 2 seconds. So the distance, I don't think it's a huge issue for him. It's the talent. I think that's his problem.
Yeah. And I want to be clear. I'm not arguing with you, Gabe. This is how I looked. I looked at the same thing and thought, well, who's really done anything?
Yeah.
But
I see exactly what you mean, Gabe.
And to be clear, again, I'm probably going to use a few of these horses that are just like, I don't think they're great, but because the deal is, to me, if Timberlake kind of just shows up, he can run like his maybe not best race, but pretty close to his best race. I don't think these horses are good enough, right? But if and I do think it's like a 50-50 shot, if Timberlake doesn't show up, there's no horse in here that can't do it.
Yeah.
Because basically, and I just read it off, it becomes an allowance race as far as the credentials that these horses have after Timberlake.
Yep.
So,
well, it would be. Here's the other thing with Timberlake. He may go down to 4-5, 3-5.
I think he will.
Well, that's just not a good horse to bet at that price.
I think honestly, I think really he's going to win at like 3-5, and we're going to look around and go, that horse is really not very good. Or he's going to lose, and we're all going to go, I knew he was going to lose. I knew it. But I was, maybe we won't say that because maybe we're going to use some different horses as well, and maybe we'll get lucky and one of them wins. But if he loses, nobody's going to be surprised because he isn't.
No.
But listen, like I about said, he isn't like Fierceness coming back. Well, Fierceness lost. You know what I mean? So it's like, you just never know.
You don't
with these horses. So yeah, I mean, you're going to go 7.
Remember when these silly 3-year-olds, you don't know. Remember when we all thought Nash was good?
Yeah.
He couldn't win an allowance with 3 horses in it.
I know. And hey, you want to get right down to it. If Nash was in this race, say Nash replaced Timberlake. Okay.
Yeah.
Nash would be a strong favorite in this race.
There's no doubt.
And that's kind of that. You just helped me hammer kind of the point that I've been making the whole time.
Yeah.
This race outside of the 7, they've done nothing.
No.
A normal Rebel field, these horses are all 20-1 outside of the 7, aside from maybe just Steele because he has kind of shown that.
Yeah, his record's decent.
Yeah. But Nash would be probably 8-5, 9-5.
Probably, yeah.
And if you threw Nash on the paper with take out Timberlake and throw Nash in and throw these other 12 horses, he would look like he was going to win. Now, whether he would actually do that or not, I don't know, but
neither.
He would look like he's going to win the race. So
it's crazy.
That's why I'm picking Timberlake, because it's like, gosh, he doesn't have to be much to win this one. There were some talks about the 13 for Ron Moquette coming off of a second place finish in a stakes race just 14 days ago, the Ozark Stakes. Yeah, I mean, he's okay. It's 2 sprints to a route. That's kind of an old school training method that works. Moquette been oddly cold at Oaklawn this year. He's won a couple, but
usually pretty good.
Yeah. Time for Truth. If this horse wins, I would be a little surprised, because boy, he's breaking from the parking lot. He's going 2 turns for the first time. I mean, there's a lot of negatives about the horse, but I think if you want to take the route of, well, they haven't sucked too bad yet, then maybe the 13's one to take a look at. What do you think about him?
I like Ron Moquette a lot. He ain't winning the Rebel. That's what I think about it.
Yeah, that's probably right. Yeah. All right. Before we're both going with the 7, before we move on, Timberlake, was he better in sync or a solo artist? David wants to know.
Talking to me?
Yeah. He said he wants your answer.
Oh, I see what he's talking about now. Oh.
Yeah.
I think he's better as a solo.
Me too. Yep.
Definitely.
I agree. Is it true you're not going to the Rebel because you want to watch the Japanese horses on Saudi Day on television?
This is how much I will watch of the Saudi races. 0.
Okay. So it's not true.
No, that's not true.
Okay.
No.
All right.
It's absolutely not true.
Well, let's go to the Honeybee here. Let me see. What race would that be? Number 9, maybe?
Yep. It's race 9.
Number 9. Let's go to the Honeybee. I thought this one, I think it's still a pretty good race. Field of 10 going for this one. Mile 16th here for the Phillies this time. Big favorite, 7-5 on number 6, West Omaha. That's where I landed. Where'd you go on this one?
Yeah, I think done a little bit more. I like the 2 as well. I like Band of Gold also. Has a win here on February 3rd in a 250K. So I like that horse, I think, but can McPeak do it back to back? I don't know. But I like that one. West Omaha is also where I went. Pretty impressive at the fairgrounds, winning by 5 in a stakes race back in January. Should be well rested. Not a whole lot not to like about that one. Did you look at the 4 at all?
I did. Yeah.
That's another one. Has been okay since she broke her maiden at Churchill. Has a couple of thirds. They're both stakes races here at Oaklawn. Not terrible. Again, it's got Gaffleone on the horse. I think that's good. Last time out, lost by 3 in the slop. Band of Gold won that race. If I'm going to go with an upset, I would take that one, maybe. But I'm going to go with the 2, Band of Gold.
I like the 4 a lot as well. I think the 4 is definitely in the mix. 6, 4, 2 for me. I like all 3 of those pretty well. And then the 8 I thought was interesting, or excuse me, the 9 I thought was kind of interesting as well. And just my heels, 20-1, but seems to be improving. Really had a nice race last time out and can compete that. I mean, 20-1's a pretty good price on that horse. That's the Moquette I like this weekend, so it'll probably go the opposite way, but I do like that horse a little bit. I went, like I said, 6, 4, 2, 9 in this one.
Yeah,
so,
I like Moquette a lot. I want to make sure I make that. I think he does a good job. I just don't think that 13 horses hadn't proven enough to me yet.
Yeah.
What about the 8? Did you look at the 8 at all?
Yeah, coming out of that same race as Band of Gold and Neon Beach. Not bad. I think this horse is okay, but I don't think it's, I don't think she's got a huge shot here. I just don't.
Well, I just saw a couple of places like that horse, and I was trying to see. Well, I did win a stakes by 5.5, but it's come back to and finished 5th and 4th in the last couple at Oaklawn. So I didn't see much in that 8. I was just wondering if I was missing something.
If you notice, Willis Horton Racing is now using Eddie Mulligan Jr., which that's is the reason. I don't, that's kind of a surprise to me. But Willis died, so it's his son, I think, that's taking it over.
Well,
now.
it's out of Tappet too. So
yeah, but they've got, they've got a horse in the Rebel too that I'm not sure about. So we'll see what happens there. The 10. Let's see. The 10 Dennis is talking about Midshipman's Dance. This is another one stretching out for the first time after 2 nice sprints. So, we'll see.
Wouldn't be surprised if she runs well.
Yeah, the stakes last time out, pretty good race. It's Diodoro Ramon Vasquez. So I get it. I get trying to take a shot. It's not for me, but I wouldn't talk you off of it.
No, absolutely not.
Yep. All right. Well, that was easy. We're both going 6 again, aren't we?
No, I'm going to go with Band of Gold.
Oh yeah, you went 2. Yeah, that's right. I went 6. You went 2. That's right. See if Band of Gold can make it 2 in a row. Okay.
I didn't want to pick Cox in both of them.
Okay, I get it. You're channeling your inner Dr. Miranda there with the Cox.
No, so. I don't think he's going to win them both.
That's probably fair. Okay. Any final Oaklawn thoughts before we move on to basketball?
No, I'm just really disappointed that it's come to this to where they can't draw a better field than what they do.
Yeah.
It's kind of sad.
Yeah.
And I'm not thinking the Arkansas Derby is going to be, well, there'll be some of them come up from Louisiana, maybe. I don't know.
Gabe says we got to get to the Iowa bred in the Razorback. He is going to scratch, Gabe. He's actually running Sunday in an allowance. So
are we talking about Ain't Life Grand?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. He's okay. So when he entered him in the Razorback, I don't think they were sure that allowance race on Sunday was going to happen. Okay. And Ain't Life Grand's ready to run. So said, okay, we'll put him in the Razorback. Well, then I guess that allowance race had a lot of interest and it filled on Sunday. So
I guess you saw that Ain't Life Grand's was the favorite in the Razorback.
We have given the trainer quite a bit of grief about scratching the favorite in a stakes to run in an allowance.
I bet you have. That is well, first of all, okay, this is no knock on this horse. I don't think this race is too strong either.
Probably not. No, and I don't really think he would have went off favored, to be honest. But no, it's not. And so I'll give you all the insight on this one. It's not, okay. I mean, just because it's not really information that's crazy, but just so they told me this horse was going to enter the Ain't Life Grand was going to enter the Razorback because there wasn't going to be an allowance. And I said, oh, that's great. We'll get to see him run.
Sure.
And they said, the field came out and they're like, well, we really don't want to run him here in this spot, but hey, at least it didn't come up real tough. And, he'll be okay in there. It's like, yeah, I'm pretty excited. He might win. Yeah. And then the allowance race came up on Sunday. So they entered that. And I think what they were thinking was that Ain't Life Grand, he'd probably be 6-1 or 8-1 in the Razorback, and you'd scratch him and he'd run in the allowance. And then the morning line came out and he was a 7-2 favorite. And boy, we just died laughing. Oh boy.
Scratch the favorite to run him in an allowance. Yeah.
Yeah. That's my trainer right there.
Well, no, I think that says more about the field for the Razorback.
Well, and I think, Kelly told me before it ever started, because I don't really want to enter him in the Razorback, but I really need to get him started. So it's what we got to do. And then so he is 7-5 in that allowance race on Sunday. So hopefully we see him run pretty well there.
Well, I hope Kelly gets 2 winners on Sunday.
Yep, I guess we can kind of wrap it up with that. Sunday in the first race, $20,000 claimer going 6 furlongs. That's where Husker Butch is entered after finishing second in his last start at Oaklawn. He's back here with a chance. After that second place finish, you do kind of feel better about his chances. He is 4-1 on the morning line, which actually makes him the third choice on the board. So, yeah, Sunday's a huge day for Sunday. I'm looking forward to more than Saturday.
Well, I would think.
Yeah, we've got Husker and we've got Ain't Life Grand, and then I think he's got a maiden at some point in this card too. 6th race maybe. Yeah, 6th race. He's got a 10-1 shot. So 3 chances to get the picture taken. Hopefully the first race is the one where we get it taken and then go back to the 9th race and maybe get another one.
You're afraid of the 4 in the first race?
I'm afraid of the 4. Yes, I am afraid of the 10 strike horse, the 6. So those are the 2 I'm most afraid of. Yeah.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Yeah.
He may get claimed, so that this could be it for Husker and myself anyway. So
yeah,
we'll see.
Well, maybe he'll win and get claimed both. That would be good.
That would be amazing. Yeah. That'd be amazing. But we'll see. I mean, I don't feel like he's gonna win, to be completely honest. I do think he might close up and hit the board. That's kind of my thought on him.
No, I think he will.
Yeah. All right. Well, it'll be a very fun weekend. Sunday probably better than Saturday. So just yeah, if you don't have anything going Sunday, make sure to watch that first race for sure at Oaklawn. Right. All right. We've got about 20 minutes. Let's talk college hoops now. As we have got through the racing part of the show. You know, I watch these teams day in and day out now because you're betting all of them and have them all picked.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think the play is all that good in college basketball.
I think overall it's not. I think there are 3 clear-cut top seeds.
Okay.
Don't you?
Mm-hmm.
Like Purdue.
I think Purdue, Houston, and UConn, definitely.
Yes.
Yeah.
You get past that, and it's hard. You could throw a bunch of them in there. I was trying to, just for the show here, just kind of listen who I would see in, top 4 seeds in each region, and it was tough. There's a bunch of them you can throw in there once you get past those 3. By the way, 2 of those 3 lost this week.
Mm-hmm.
Purdue and UConn both, but they've both been playing really, really well.
Yeah.
But and Houston's one of those teams that's just consistent. They look really good, but we know they struggle a little bit when they get in the tournament too. I mean,
yeah.
Tell you the difference between Houston this year and last year, they're battle tested.
Yeah.
Because they're in the Big 12 now.
Yeah.
And they haven't played any kind of a soft schedule, and they're winning pretty much just like they always do. This may be the best team he's had down there. They're really tough.
Yeah.
So what was the question? Oh, is overall. I don't know if it's overall bad or if it's just really balanced.
That could be. So, like, to the point, I guess, actually, Dennis's question, kind of what we're talking about here. So, forget about the Kentucky question for just a second. Why is everybody's record 17-6? That might be it. Is it just balanced, or is every team just kind of average to above average?
When you look at the Big 12, there are 9 teams probably going to get in the tournament, 8 or 9.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that means every time you take the floor, you can get your ass beat.
Yeah.
You look at the SEC. There's a bunch of teams in the SEC that are the same. And you're right. It's either one or the other. It's mediocre, or there's just a lot of good players that are spread out more evenly this year than usual.
Mm-hmm.
Why is Kentucky so bad? Well, maybe because they suck. Maybe they're just not very good.
They don't have the players.
It's entirely possible that they're not.
Yeah, I agree.
And, I don't know. I have not watched them much, to be honest with you. I haven't seen them a whole lot. I'm surprised of their record, but sometimes there's years you don't get those. They're just not that good. I don't care who you are.
Yeah.
And I don't know how the portal is affecting college basketball. I'm sure it's affecting it a lot.
Yeah.
So,
but Miranda makes talk about Louisville being horrible again. That's more of the mystery to me. It was why Louisville is horrible again. Like, what is going on?
That's a mystery.
And she said jokingly, I'm sure, I stand with Kenny Payne. They've got to make changes to that program. That is way too good of a program to be embarrassing.
Yeah, that is a strange one. This is too straight mediocre. We're worse than mediocre.
I mean, well, like she says, they lost by 22 points last night at home to Notre Dame.
Notre Dame's awful.
They're horrible.
I picked Louisville to win. I thought they would win that game.
Yeah, Dennis was sent a message saying, "Hey, I think Louisville will win this game today or tonight." Yeah. It never was even close. I mean, it was awful.
Yeah, it is. I think some of the lower level basketball is pretty good. I've seen some really good teams with ESPN Plus. We were talking about that off air too, how much fun it is when you pick one of these lower level games and you can get it on ESPN Plus. You see some of these gyms they play at. Some of them are really cool. And some of them are old school and things, and there's some pretty good teams, but and players that play.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's fun.
Somebody said Pitino made Louisville great. Louisville was great long before Pitino. Was there. Louisville's been good for 50 years, and I don't know, but you kind of look. UCLA's down. That's one of those teams. It's just.
Yeah, but they haven't been down for a long period of time. That's what I'm saying. Like,
well, Louisville's only been down a couple of years, 2 or 3.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the answer is there, because that's a hotbed of basketball for sure. UCLA, what I was kind of getting at is you go through these times when it just doesn't work out and you don't get the guy you got to have.
Right.
And then you drop a little, and UCLA's in a poor conference and they're down. The Pac-12 is not very good other than a couple of teams. So I don't know. I think it's just people just don't understand how many great players there are out there, how long this season is. And you go out on the road like UConn went into Creighton the other night. My God, Creighton could have beat anybody the other night. They were on fire in that game. And with 3-point shot, when they're going and you're hitting them and you're pretty good anyway, it's damned hard to beat you. I'll tell you.
Yeah. So. I know. I've enjoyed the Mountain West. I feel like those games are great out there if you can stay awake. Those have been good. I think they should get probably 4 teams in.
Oh, I do too.
Maybe 5.
That's a tough conference.
Yeah.
I think a conference that's a little underrated is the Atlantic 10.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
And it's solid. A team that I think is kind of another one that's kind of a sleeper is South Florida, which has never been good. They're in the American Conference. They've got a good chance to win it, but I don't know if they'll get more than the conference champion out of that league. I don't know. That's the thing. They may have to win the regular season and then turn right around and win that conference championship as well, because of conferences like the SEC and the Big 12 and the Big 10 getting so many teams in to the tournament.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be the Big 10 sucks. I'll go ahead and say that, but they're going to get a lot of teams in.
They will get a lot of teams in. And the thing about these conferences like the Big 12, okay, it's a very good conference, yes, but by the time they run through the gauntlet of the regular season and then they got to turn around and get into that damn stupid ass conference tournament, they're wore out.
Yeah,
they're wore out.
They are. I know it's bad. It is really bad.
Night, you better be ready to play. Even the bad teams like West Virginia and Oklahoma State can beat you.
Yes.
They can beat you. They're not
Ask,
horrible.
ask Cincinnati. They got beat by Oklahoma State last night. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
And Oklahoma's got to go in there in a must-win situation Saturday, and I don't think they win.
Oh, OU's getting beat Saturday.
Yeah, and
Lock
I'm
it up.
telling you, they may not make the tournament if they don't win that game.
I call that a 50-50 game. 50-50.
At best, they're going to have to play great to go in there and win.
They almost lost to Oklahoma State at home.
They very well should have, because they cannot score. And when you cannot score, when you can't consistently hit that 3 ball, you're done.
Yep.
You have got to be able to hit that 3-point shot. Okay,
I made a prediction on a future wager. You tell me if this is really dumb. I first of all, let me just say, I think UConn's the best team, and they should win it again, in my opinion. But at most future books, they're like 4 or 5 to 1, and I just don't want to bet that, right?
Yeah. I
bet North Carolina at 20 to 1. Is that bad?
No.
Okay.
No.
So here's my theory.
Carolina at 20 to 1.
Yes, 20 to 1 to win the championship. Here's my theory on it. I think when you get into the tournament, the guard play means so much. And I think RJ Davis he's a stud. And I think they've got enough around him that's really starting to play well. I thought that was too high of a price on North Carolina. So I took him at 20 to 1.
You remember?
Duke was 25.
To me, one of those teams might get our number 1 seed. I'm trying to think who that 4th number 1 seed is. I think they both have identical records.
I mean, they're going to be 1, 2, or 3.
Yeah. But well, who else would you put in there at a 1?
Yeah, it's not. I
mean, Arizona has shown that they are flawed.
That's probably who's the 4th 1 seed
right
right
just
now,
to have one from the West.
I would say it's them.
Well, that's a weak number 1.
Fair, yeah.
Kansas could still sneak in there and get it if they win the rest of their games.
They're going to have to get hot.
Well, if they do, wouldn't they deserve it? Because they're going to have to beat Iowa State, Houston, those kind of teams. If they went out, they might get it.
Oh, if they went out, they're going to get it. But they're not.
I don't think that's going to happen.
No.
You got Alabama. You got Tennessee. I've seen Tennessee.
Yeah, no, they're not.
But I saw him some rating search had him as a number 1 seed. But I don't
overall, here was my theory on it. Okay, forget about UConn. I get it. Like they're going to be underdogs against UConn, no doubt. And that they'll just
they are.
You just honestly, if you're playing somebody else in the future markets, you're just gonna have to hope March Madness takes over and UConn gets beat somewhere. It's not impossible. It could happen.
Oh, it's absolute. Look what happened to them this week.
Right.
They weren't even in the game.
Right.
They got beat by 20 points.
But what I'm saying is, okay, you got Houston, who could beat anybody. They also could lose to like an 8 seed. They really could. You've got Purdue. We've seen it over and over and over. You got Arizona. They're not. I don't think they're that great. You start going through the rest of the teams. I just thought that makes a ton of sense. It makes a ton of sense that North Carolina's 20 to 1.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting here thinking if North Carolina played this team, I think they'd beat them.
Yeah. They're in their basketball school. That's one team you don't want to play in the tournament. People just don't understand with basketball. You can lose. It's like Creighton beating UConn.
Yeah.
UConn's not going to lose to a shitty team.
Yeah, no.
But you get in that tournament where everybody's pretty good, and you have a night where you're not quite on, and they're knocking down threes all over the place, and you get behind, and you're the top seed, and that pressure starts getting to you, you get beat. And you only get one chance, and you're out of there. And that's what makes this so hard to win. It's just you watch when this tournament starts, and oh God, it's going to be impossible to pick these games as usual.
Oh yeah.
When this tournament starts, there's just going to be crazy things that happen, and you're just going to have games where somebody's just not on like they need to be, and they're going to get beat in an early round. And you would think, what in the world? How did that happen? But it happens every.
Yeah, I know.
Dennis, they have the first four in, last four out.
Yeah, I'm gonna read it to you right now.
Pull that up. We'll see what we got here.
Well, I accidentally clicked on the women's. Let me click on the men's. There we go. Bracketology. Okay, the last four in that don't have to play in the play-in games, they're saying, is New Mexico, Nebraska, Texas A&M, and Nevada.
Okay, I agree with three of them. Texas A&M, no.
The last four,
they have them in, right? Texas A&M is in.
Yes, the last four in: Butler, Gonzaga, Seton Hall, I should say, Seton Hall, and Ole Miss.
There's the last four that's in.
Yes.
Say that again.
Butler, Gonzaga, Seton Hall, and Ole Miss.
Wow. I would have Ole Miss in solidly at this point. Seton Hall, no. Butler, no. What was the other one?
Ole Miss, Gonzaga.
I think Gonzaga's going to get in.
I do too.
Just because of who they are. And they're playing pretty well right now.
Okay, first four out.
Okay.
Providence, Utah, Cincinnati, Wake Forest.
Providence?
Mm-hmm.
I think they should be in. The other three, no. I don't see any way Utah's even into consideration. I don't get that. I'm with you, Dennis. I think Wake Forest is decent.
I would think they would get in. The next four out are Colorado, Villanova, St. John's, and Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I agree with those. Villanova's making a run though. They're playing better. They could make a run and upset some teams in that Big East tournament whenever it comes about. I'm glad they got Cincinnati listed in there. That's a better chance for Oklahoma to get in.
Yeah, first of all, the number one seeds right now: UConn, Purdue, Arizona, Houston. So they've got Arizona.
Yeah,
in that.
They always try to put a West team in as a number one.
Yeah,
and when Arizona's playing well, they're hard to beat. But there's some nights they don't. There's no way I'm picking them into the Final Four right now.
So North Carolina, Tennessee, Kansas, Marquette. That's your twos.
So they've got Carolina. So they got Duke at a 3.
Let's see. Duke. Yeah, they have Duke as a 3.
Where they got Illinois? Are they 3?
Illinois, who I kind of like that Illinois team.
I do too.
Let's see. Baylor's a 3. Iowa State's a 3. Alabama's a 3. Duke's a 3.
And who did you say the 2s were? North Carolina, Kansas.
Let's see. North Carolina, Kansas, Marquette, and Tennessee. And the 4s, they don't have Illinois. No, they have Illinois as a 4.
A 4.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good 4. Where they got Auburn? Are they a 4?
Auburn is not. Yes, they're a 4.
Is Virginia?
Virginia is a 9.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Well, they have no regard for the ACC.
No, it seems like that's definitely the case. Yeah. Oklahoma is an 8.
Where have they got the highest ranked Mountain West?
Ooh, let me just run through them here. Unfortunately, it's listed out in like bracket style, so I got to go through.
Oh well.
Colorado State is a 6.
Okay.
Nevada is a 10.
Really?
San Diego State is a 4.
So they are a 4.
That's Utah State is a. They're not. Are they? Yeah. Are they Mountain West?
Are they? Yeah.
They're a 7.
Really?
I think that's it.
Yeah, I bet Boise's not in, probably.
Boise is in. They are a 9.
Okay, so you listed New Mexico,
No, New Mexico. No, I didn't. New Mexico is at 10.
All right. They're getting 6 in.
Yeah.
You listed 6 of them.
Yeah. 6. They have Boise as a 9. Now, again, this isn't the end all be all.
Well,
There's still games left.
Way to go.
Yeah.
As of this, that's unbelievable that conference is going to get 6.
Yeah.
In there. Wow.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And they deserve it.
Yeah, no, it's a good conference.
I would say if they get 6 in, when you look at the conference like the one that Gonzaga's in, you got Gonzaga, you got San Francisco, and you got St. Mary's. They may just get 2 of those 3. And then that also is telling us probably that the Pac-12 is looking at only about 3 getting in there.
Yeah, you got Arizona,
Oregon.
Yeah, Oregon.
The other one is Washington State, and they may get left out just because of who they are.
They're in an 8. They're at an 8 right now. Right. Washington State. I'm trying to find. I think that's it. I think it's all for the Pac-12. Yeah,
it's weak.
I don't see anybody else.
So I'm sure Kentucky's in, but they're playing as poorly as any of the ones that should be considered in the SEC.
Kentucky is a 5, according to
this. That's ridiculous.
Well,
they got beat by LSU last night.
Here's the conference breakdowns. It was here at the bottom. So they got 9 from the Big 12, 9 from the SEC, 6 from the Big 10, 6 from the Mountain West, 5 from the Big East, 4 from the ACC, 2 Pac-12, 2 American, and 2 West Coast Conference.
So they do have 2 Americans.
Yeah.
And 2 West Coast.
Yeah.
The other league that is going to get screwed is the Sun Belt. You have James Madison, which is one of 24 games, I think. And you have Appalachian State, which is 122. And that league is good anyway. It's pretty solid. And they're only going to get 1. So they're going to get screwed in this deal.
Seems it. Yep. It definitely seems it.
Well, we say this every year. We did last year. How would you like to have, I don't know whether that applies to basketball, Dennis, because they've been D1, I think, in basketball.
Oh, yeah. No. Yeah. They weren't Division II in football. They were FCS. Yeah.
They've been D1 in basketball.
Oh, yeah, for years. Yeah.
How would you like for them? Okay, let's say they got three regular season games left, and they win all of them. And then they win the first 2 games of the tournament, and they're 29-2 or whatever that would make them. And then they lose the conference championship game to Appalachian State, and they don't get in.
Right.
And yet, an 18-13 SEC flunky dunky or an 18-13 Oklahoma gets in over them. That is not right. It's just not. But we talk about it every year, so.
Yeah, that is what it is.
What I want to know, we're talking about college basketball here. You're the hockey expert. Who's winning the Stanley Cup? Or name me the final 4 in hockey in your judgment right at this moment, because this is tough.
I have the Avalanche winning it.
You do. So you're still behind the Avalanche.
Yep.
Okay.
I've got the Avalanche winning it.
Who are they going to beat in the West? Who's going to be the team they have to beat in the West?
It really should be Edmonton. I think it should be Edmonton.
You think it's Edmonton?
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing I don't like about Edmonton. Are they good enough defensively?
I'm not sure.
I mean, it seems to me like those type of teams that are offensive oriented can't get all the way through it.
Yeah.
That would be the only thing. I hope they do, because I want to watch them.
Yeah, I think they'll get it. I think they're going to get through it this year. I do. I think they're tougher than they were. And I think Colorado, kind of the same thing. Their checking line last year wasn't very good. It's better this year. So
they're class.
I think Colorado, and I think Edmonton. Now, the East is going to be interesting.
So you're leaving the Canucks out?
Yeah, I don't think they'll make it.
Okay.
This is going to...
The East, it could be one of 5 or 6.
I'm pretty high on Florida. I think they're going to make it.
Me too.
Boy, man, this is tough on the other side of it.
You got the Rangers.
I don't think they're going to do it.
Well, I don't either, but they're hard to beat. Carolina's hard to beat.
I'm taking a team that's not in it right now.
Really?
Yep. I think the Devils. I think it'll be the Devils and the Panthers.
Really?
Yep.
Well, you probably would be the only one that would be taking the Devils out of the possible ones you can choose.
Well, to be fair, I was the only one to take the Panthers at like 40-1 when they were the last seed last year. So
they caught fire down the stretch, and they were hot in the playoffs.
I don't. Dennis said take a future bet. I bet the Avalanche. They're 9-1. That's what I bet. But I don't take the first. Really, from now to the end of the season is what I take serious when it comes to the playoffs, right? And the Devils had a bad start, but they're playing a lot better right now, and I think they're going to get hot. I think they'll overtake a team like the Flyers, who are ahead of them, and I think they'll get into a decent spot. And I think they'll cause some trouble for some teams. I like them. Well, I also like Tampa Bay, but they're. I don't think they're going to get out of their own, pot of 4. I just think it's too tough.
Who's that? Who'd you say?
Tampa Bay.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah. Canes are going to get over the hump this year. I don't think so. I wouldn't be shocked if they made maybe a run, but I don't think they're going to get there. I don't. I think they're the same. They're in a tough spot because they're damn good, but they're the same team every year. And it's a really good team, but they're not good enough.
Can you say they don't have that difference maker?
They remind me a lot of the Blues back in the 90s. They're solid, but they don't have enough. And every offseason, this is the problem, their coach or whatever. And the problem is they don't have enough.
Aren't they, when you get in the playoffs, they don't have enough scorers scattered throughout the lineup?
100%.
You can stop the best ones.
Yeah, that's 100% accurate, I think. I think they're probably, I would just say they're about like they were last year. And I think that could be good enough to win a round or two. To me, I don't think you're going to beat Florida. And I think if Florida and Boston match up right now, they'd match up in the second round potentially. That's who's going. The winner of that.
The thing I don't like about Boston. Look at all the ties they have. They have like 10.
Yeah.
Which means when they get into the overtimes, they're losing.
Mm-hmm.
That means they've lost 10 overtimes or 11. Well, that tells me they don't have enough scoring. Because if they're losing that many overtime games, as good as they are, they don't have that guy who can put that puck in the net 3-on-3,
Well, yes and no. You don't have to worry about that in the playoffs, though.
No, but what I'm getting at is, to me, overtime's all about skill. You shouldn't be getting in that many games, overtime games.
Yeah.
If you're that much better than if you're going to win the Stanley Cup, I don't think you should be in that many overtime games. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, Dallas had a lot of them last year, and
I went against them.
I think a lot when I watched Boston, I think they had that great season last year, and it didn't equate to anything in the playoffs, and they kind of just seemed to be taking a little bit more of a lackadaisical approach at times.
It's possible.
They may have kind of outdone themselves in a regular season.
I don't think you can totally count them out ever.
Yeah.
But I just don't think it's a good sign.
So here's the deal with any kind of future bet, and this is just me. I'm not telling you what to do, the listener, Dennis, whoever. This is just my take on it. He said the Devils are plus 105 to make the playoffs. I don't have any interest in plus 105 for a bet that has thousands of combinations, right? Like to have to go right for you to get plus 105. Like they were like plus 500, sure, I'd take a shot with it. It's not enough for me. I would rather take them at like plus like or 40 to 1, let's say, to win the East or something like that. Like, and I get like, yeah, but you said they're compete for the East. So why wouldn't you take plus 105 just to make the playoffs? Because the payout isn't good enough for the risk. Like, what if 3 guys get hurt?
Yeah.
Then I'm sitting on a plus 105 ticket for a month and a half as this team tries to cripple into the playoffs. I'd rather take a flyer on it. Like with the Panthers last year, take that 40 to 1 shot with them. I remember we were sitting at the Bluegrass and I was watching the Panthers on my iPad, and Dan Waite was with us. He's like, "Why are you watching this game?" I was like, "Got him at 41 to win the Stanley Cup, but if they don't win this game, they're not going to make the playoffs." So he was laughing, and he's like, "Why did you bet him there?" I was like, "Because they're actually extremely good. They just were horrible for the first half of the season." He said, "But if they make it, they're going to be really tough." You know,
we talked about it last year.
Yeah,
there was a team that had been in the playoffs for a month before the playoffs ever started. Because they had to win games to get in the playoffs, playing a team that cinched it about this time of the year.
Yes.
So they hadn't been in any kind of pressure-packed situations.
Yep.
Heavy favorites against a team that barely made the playoffs. It was all stacked against Boston.
Well, and the other thing was, when you get into the playoffs, you can toss the records out and you look at the lineups and it's like Florida's just as good as Boston.
Yeah.
They roll 4 lines. They've got good defensemen. They've got superstar players. The only question was the goaltending, and it came 2 different guys came through for them.
They did.
But they were just, I remember before game 2, I went on VSiN and Florida was like plus 210, because Boston beat them in game 1. And those guys were like, "You are crazy taking Florida." I said, "Guys, you watch game 1, Florida dominated that game. It was just a hockey game. Sometimes you dominate and lose." But I said, they got the better of the play. I said, not only can they win, and they are going to win game 2, they might win a series. Like, it's going to be a long series. And, they ended up winning it. They got very lucky to win it, but they did. They won it. But the whole point of it is that's the kind of situations you need to look for. Those teams that are hot, and they're not going to get valued because people are just looking at the records. It's like, well, take like the last 20 games. Well, shit, they're better than anybody. Take them. They're plus 180.
So you want to start looking for one of those teams right now.
Right now, exactly. This is kind of when they started to make their run. The team. That's why I said the Devils. They're a team that I think is getting better. They're playing better. They've got the ability to make the playoffs, and to make the playoffs from where they're at right now, they're going to have to play really well down the stretch.
Well, and the other thing is, Aaron, look at they're real close to the playoffs anyway. They're only 2-3 points out.
Yeah.
Okay, and the 3 teams they're due, how much are they now?
They're 4 points out.
Okay, but look at the teams they're dueling with: the Islanders.
Yeah, better than
the
them.
Capitals,
better than them,
and the Penguins,
better than them.
So the 3 teams they're dueling with aren't very good.
Yep.
So if they can catch fire, but they're 4 down, which is like 2 games in any other sport. When you're 4 points behind, you're 2 games down.
Mm-hmm.
So there's going to be some very significant games that they're going to have to win. And if you win those are like playoff games, and you're going to be ready for those playoffs if you can get through these next 20 games. And that's what he's trying to say. It makes sense.
Yeah.
That's a team that could catch fire. That's pretty good. Didn't get off to a good start and could get to rolling, and then take on one of those top seeds that's coasted for a while.
Yep. Exactly. And so, if the Devils were to get hot and say they match up with like Carolina in the first round.
Well, wouldn't they match up with somebody like Florida?
Well, not if they got real hot. I think the Devils can catch the Flyers for the third
you think
spot.
they can get to 3? Okay.
Yeah, I do.
Well,
if they play
funny?
What?
Go ahead. Oh, well, I was going to say, wouldn't it be funny if they got to 4, where then they would have to take on Florida, say Florida then won theirs.
Yeah.
And Florida be in the exact opposite situation this year than they were in last year.
I don't like them near as much if they have to take on Boston or Florida. My hope is they get the wild card, they get the first wild card, and they get to go to New York, play the Rangers.
Yeah.
Guys, like the difference between the Rangers and the Devils, even right now, it is so small. It's unbelievable. Like, it's going to come down to bounces. So just take the better price and hope you get the bounce. I mean, that's hockey. The difference between the Devils and the Hurricanes, nothing. They're the same teams.
Yeah.
So that's just that's the thing with hockey and with baseball. And then I'll end it with this because I got another show coming up here pretty quick. The difference between the middle, I would say, take maybe the 3 worst teams in the league, the 3 or 4 best teams in the league. The difference between like the 5th best hockey team or baseball team and the 20th best hockey team or baseball team is nothing.
Yeah.
It really is nothing. So you look for those games and you look where the prices are weird and you take the underdogs. That's literally all I do in hockey and baseball. And it's not even close how much better I am at those 2 sports than the other ones. So
I guess maybe I better start doing it because that's the 2 I'm the worst at.
The thing you've got to do, and you've got to go into the same approach with horse racing. You are not going 3-0 every night if you do this. You're not. But if you go 500 and all of your bets are plus money bets, you're going to win.
Yeah.
Like I think I'm like 6-6 my last 12 in hockey, and I'm up like bet $100 on each game. I'm up like almost $200 because they're all plus 170s and 30s and plus 140s. And I get the same amount right betting those than I do betting the minus 110s. And that was a thing. And I said this on Sharp Money yesterday. I said, guys, like what I did, because I was a sports bettor who could always be around 0, but never ahead. I was always behind. Down 100, down 50, down 200, just fluctuate there. And I thought, well, this is really dumb because if I just flip, I'm going 500, right? If I just flip it and bet the plus monies instead of the minus monies, then I can have the same record. It's showing me right here I'm going 500. I'll just flip it and be ahead. That's all I've done. So it's really not that complicated.
You still have to have skill, though, and pick the right games.
Well, you got to look at it and go, okay, the Anaheim Ducks are plus 200 against Dallas tonight in Dallas. Okay, stay away from that one. That's not that difficult to determine that, right? But hey, the Predators are in Los Angeles tonight, and the Predators are plus 130. That is a freaking coin flip game. Take the Predators. The coin may not land on your side, but the next plus 130 game you take, it might. And guess what? You're ahead $30.
That's true.
I mean, I am like probably, I doubt I might be just a tiny bit over 500, maybe. And I'm way up for hockey. But again, I'm not sitting here bragging. Football, basketball, killed. I get killed. I don't bet it anymore because I can't do it. And I'm telling you, I can't do it. But hockey and baseball, I can do it. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I can't in basketball. I can't get that. Whether college, really all college sports, basketball and football, I can't find those spots where I can get that kind of thing.
No, it's totally different sport.
No, it's tough, and I can't find those plus monies that make sense in my mind in those sports.
Football, basketball, the point spreads are so. That's the key.
Yeah, and that's it. Like, if you don't want to mess with the point spreads, okay, I'm going to try to play a underdog to win. It's like, oh, God, I don't want to play them. Like,
yeah, I
like
can't tell you.
Tonight, it's like Nashville versus Los Angeles. I mean, come on. Like, who knows who's going to win, right? But
you don't have points to worry about.
Right. Not even that, though. But it's just like, you look at that on paper and you go, well, they're going 5-5 if they play each other 10 times in this situation.
Sure.
So hopefully the underdog wins the game.
Is that 5-5? Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's just, I don't know how many. I went on a 3.5 week run where I was just hitting everything pretty much. And then the bottom fell out. I missed 7 in a row, which I knew was going to happen.
Yeah, I know.
And I got a couple right last night. It was like the sun came up again, and
yes.
But watching these things, I don't know, during this poor streak I've been through, like I would have -8 and they would win by 7.
Mm-hmm.
And I would lose. And that's what you go through at the point. And I don't know how many games you watch, because again, we've talked about this a million times. These teams that are playing these games, they don't give a shit what the point spread is. They're just trying to extend the game or run clock. They know and not do anything stupid. They're not trying to score.
Mm-mm.
And they might then get fouled and miss the 1-and-1. And the other team comes out and makes a basket, and you go from a win to a loss. It's something just like that right there.
You were doing fine. The slump hadn't hit until that Saturday. That it was last Saturday.
Yeah.
And you got, I mean, it was ridiculous. It was the worst luck. Like you lost a couple games, you lost outright. And it's like, bad pick, whatever.
Yeah.
Some of those games were ridiculous. You were losing though. And it was what you're talking about.
And you just shake your head. But and it's just amazing how you lose confidence.
Yeah.
Too.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't really make a bad, the NFL is the worst, I think, about losing right as the last on point spreads. Because sometimes, especially when it's like a 3-point game or a 6-point game, and these teams they're just trying to run out the clock. They're not trying to score, and you may have like, I don't know, I can't, like a 8-point game. No, I don't know what I'm trying to say, but let's say you have a 9-point game and there's like 3 minutes to go, and the other team's that is behind is going down, and they get stopped and they kick a field goal to cut that to 6 because they got to score twice. So they kick that stupid field goal, and then they do an onside kick and they don't get it. You lost because they kicked that field goal, and there's nothing you can do about that.
Right. Yep.
Yeah. And the other and the team on defense, they don't care that they kicked that field goal. They're letting them go down. They're just trying to keep them from scoring a long pass play for a touchdown. They don't care.
Right.
So
yeah.
Anyway.
No, I mean, that's the thing. When you mess with the point spreads, it's like, oh gosh.
It's tough. It's tough. But it's also what makes it fun.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. For sure. All right. I got to get out of here. Got to go take care of the dog before the next show. So we got to get out of here now. We will be back. Blinkers Off will come up here at 2 p.m. Central. So about 36 minutes away. We'll be talking more Rebel, and we'll be talking about the Saudi Cup as well. All right. Got to get out of here, Papa Dude. Thanks for joining me again this week. Thanks for joining us, you guys listening. Good conversation there at the end for sure. And you know what the good news is? We talked about the NHL some and that betting strategy, and that means Major League Baseball is next. First preseason game, or I guess spring training game, tomorrow. I think it's the Dodgers and somebody, but spring training and then baseball coming back in April. All right, guys, we're going to get out of here. We'll see you next week.
This is due to Bet Sports.